Now, I don't think there's too much hype out there at the moment on AAVE, but I have noticed this little sign that came up last month. So we've been bearish for a little while. We've broken down a lot for the last few months, but we have still maintained, you know, somewhat of a bullish market structure, even though it's just pretty much from the beginning. So I'm not really too strong on it. But what we do have is a sign that, you know, the failed swing low that we had of last month just finished now, where we've got this fractal that just got taken out, all the stops down here, and then price failed to close down at these $73 levels, and then we've just, you know, come back up, forming up here. We're seeing if we're going to have a similar continuation of that this month, or if this is going to close over here, close below this line, and then validate this failed swing low. But what there could be for some kind of short-term moves in the month of June, we could see some bullish action, provided we get like a nice break of some structure in the lower time frame. So let's get into that. Looking at the weekly, we had this failed swing low that we were looking to or expecting to find. However, price did just, you know, close right below it, so that's taking that out of the picture, and we no longer are concerned with that. We were looking to see if price could come all the way down to this $40 level, failed to close below that, and then give us a nice entry on the 4-hour time frame. However, we didn't get that, and we just touched the weekly market structure, which is the orange line there, or beige. So very bearish in terms of the pattern of the price action, but that market structure is still on that bearish level. We've not yet closed below this though. Price is looking to gear up and test that. You know, we squeezed up, we've got these 3 kind of doji like candles rising up, which is followed by these, you know, bigger kind of bearish candles. So that's kind of the market showing you it's taking a breather. I expect price to maybe hit up maybe a bit higher before just, you know, crashing down a little bit more. So usually what you can expect price to do is, you know, rally up a bit as it's doing, and then maybe flatten out again before you get one kind of bigger red candle coming down. It may kind of get wickish, but we're going to see if this is support, you know, then you'll get that kind of movements. Otherwise, yeah, that play would be over, and we see price come down and test these lower levels, going back to that $20 area where all the big sharks got in, you know, aka the guy in the thumbnail that you probably have heard of. So I don't think he's tweeted much about this in recent times, but again, from the monthly, this is somewhat of a sign to me that, you know, price is potentially looking to give us something in the next coming weeks. But let's get into that on the daily. So what I'd like to see from here, as we are still in a bearish daily market structure, let me just move that for now, we don't need to see that. We've got price, you know, coming down below the EMA, but we have broken through it. So as I said, we still could dibble and dabble around in these areas, but I do want to see price break this high, and that kind of turns this zone into me, or creates this zone from this fractal, this entire area. Quite a big stop for a lot of you, but in terms of kind of swing traders, this is, you know, fairly normal type of action that you're going to see. You want to see price come up out here, and then you're looking at these kind of stop levels, and then your targets, I will pick out the latest highs there, maybe a bit higher. That's something that we are waiting to see, if price can first of all break this level. So that's my kind of main point. There are also some other day plays also I'm seeing, but I wouldn't be getting involved in them, just mainly because I got my eyes on the bigger thing right now. But we have got a failed swing low right here as of current today active, so we've got about 4 hours left before this candle closes. Let me just zoom in a bit more. So if we do manage to close above the low of this fractal here, which is $100.72, so this close needs to be above that, and then we can, you know, look at getting into some intraday action. So something I would be looking at, do we close up here? Then I would look down on the hourly, look for that fractal break, which we actually already have. So we've actually already got that fractal break where we've broken that hourly market structure by this candle, and then I would look to see price getting here. You know, these are my kind of areas for stops, and then I would kind of look to weigh it up here. So that's a pretty nice risk reward ratio on this one, which is still currently pending out, though I would like to wait to the end of the day to make sure that this candle does actually close above that fractal level. Otherwise, you know, it becomes invalid, and this is just all for nothing. So don't ever shoot your guns, you know, too early, don't be premature with it. I'm just going to go back to the daily just to finish up that analysis. I sound a bit stuffy, it's that hay fever season, man, so you know how that goes. We are now touching that 50 EMA, or we've come past it now, so this is the kind of price's second attempt to see if it can close above that. Usually with these EMAs, you know, as we're swinging around price in this kind of little lower area, you can get price where it breaks down a bit, and then it finally, before it finally has the momentum to really come up and test these higher levels. So if I was a seller from this point, you know, if I've really not taken my profits down at these levels, once it's crossed that 20 EMA, I'm definitely out of it by now. I'm not trying to give all of that back to the market, so we'll just look at, you know, that kind of seller short position. This is not something I would take, but you know, sellers generally, they're probably going to have their stops around here, and then that would have been their target, you know, a nice 2+ ratio. But as you can see right now, you know, if prices are already here, you know, it's kind of looking meager at the moment. You're not really getting much gain. And if you're kind of hoping for price to swing down again, you might get one last touch at your target profit before price, you know, either does something different or goes a bit deeper. But for me, you know, if you're being conservative, that's not really worth the risk. You want to keep as much profits to yourself as possible. You don't want to give it all back to the market. And that is all I have for you on AAVE. So stay tuned for more videos.